Kako T bike in South Korea. It was my first trip to South Korea, and I was exposed to the Kako Kakao space T. So that's the app on the iOS, Android also, and when you're in the app itself, you basically choose the Kako T, the bike. This is called a bike, and there's multiple options that you have to go through. In terms of setting up your credit card, you choose a foreign credit card, and you set up your credit card. And the best is not to use your actual credit card, but best to use your debit type of credit card, where I'm using the U-Trip, YOUTRIP. I store value into that, and I use that card. Make that debit card is not linked to any of my savings plans. Try to use that card in case of fraudulent problems. So I use that card to access the Kako T's e-bike. For the e-bike, you only can access the Kako T e-bike. The Kako T's e-scooter needs a Korean driving license. You can't use it. So I was able to access on that bike, and always good to wear a helmet for safety reasons. And the seat is quite adjustable. You can see that the seat here is quite adjustable. There's a height adjustment. The brakes are good. The battery life, you could go about 10 to 20 kilometers. The battery is quite powerful. The bike itself is quite powerful. It's pedal assisted, and there's no speedometer of anything. So the terrain of the Jeju Island itself is a mixture of road and pavement. Just have to watch for steep slopes and sand. I think the sand is one of the major problems that you can skid off the bike. That's why it's good to get a helmet in case of any accidents. And I managed to use this Kako T bike around Jeju Island. I think the main city, the other smaller cities doesn't really have the Kako T bike. And I used the app to locate the Kako T bike and scan the QR code, unlock the lock mechanisms, and what I do was that I put on my Peak Designs bike mount. Is removable, so this bike mount is removable, and I was using Peak Designs mobile phone casing. And the good thing is that I could actually make use of my phone to navigate. So actually, when you're on the foreign terrain, it's always good to have a phone mount, a removable phone mount, and you must remember to remove it when you are locking up the bike. So one thing good about the bike is that once you lock up the bike, you can actually access the app to take a picture of it. You can actually rent the bike and bring it anywhere you want. There's a boundary within the app. They will tell you that you cannot go out of the boundary, but after that you just park it anywhere that is not blocking somebody, and after that you lock the bike, take a picture, and that's it, and you'll be clocked based on usage mileage itself. There's a basket in front, and it's quite useful. There's no bell on this bike, so so you got to be careful. Can you ride the bike on this road? I did ride on the pavement and the road, so not an issue. It wasn't any issue, but take note that you're wearing pants, then you will get oil onto your pants on the right side, because the chain is actually exposed. So for those of you who are mindful that you don't want to get your clothing dirtied, then you got to find some way to make sure that your pants don't get onto the oil, flatter onto the oil on the oil of the chain. But other than that, there is lights on the bike, so in the evening itself, if you feel like riding the bike in the evening, not a problem. You will be visible. The front and the rear, there's lights, so you don't have to bring any spare lights itself. Condition of the bike, looks good, and the problems I encounter are braking. The brakes itself squeak. So anyway, there's many Kakao T bike around to bring you around. You could use a Kakao T card to actually take a bus, or you can use Kakao T bikes to move around within the city, within the areas, and you can get to see more things within Jeju Island itself. So the usual risk with riding this style of e-bikes is that if you've never ridden an e-bike, then you got to familiarize yourself that by pedaling a little bit, you are pushing yourself forward. So if you're on the pavement, the danger is you may skid off, especially downslope. So if when the terrain is too steep up or too steep down, you're not confident, just get off the bike and push. And watch out for people on the pavement, because the last thing we want is to ram into somebody with this bike. And so when I'm using this bike, I generally pedal a bit, then it pushes forward, pedal a bit, it pushes forward. So in order to keep myself at a safe speed, so that I don't ram into someone by accident, or I don't skid off the slope. So I managed to pedal up a very steep 45-degree slope in Jeju Island itself, the main city. And this bike was damn good. It has that power, and the battery can last quite long. So I just wondering, how do they swap it? I think maybe in the middle of the night they go around swapping the battery packs, because the bike can't be charged with solar. There's no solar panel. So I think someone is collecting the bike to charge it and put it back onto the streets itself. Yep, so that's all for the Kakao T e-bike. Can we find the Kakao T e-bike in Seoul? Not really. In Seoul itself, I rely a lot on the bus. So the Kakao T card, the T Cash card is the more effective one to move around. I did see e-scooters and bikes around, but never get a chance to rent it, because don't quite understand what app they're using. And anyway, the Seoul city is very crowded. It's kind of risky if you are using a e-mobility, because the roads are very packed with cars and buses, and the pavements are packed with people. So not really advisable to use that. But on Jeju Island, well, there are places where not many people, but once I go into places where there are lots of people, I park the bike and just walk, for safety reasons, because I really do not want to get into any accident with anybody that is in a foreign land. But other than that, so for the Kakao T bike, I think one of the challenges when setting up, including my friends who were trying to set up, was that they couldn't find the so you must go into the Kakao T app, click onto the bike, and click onto the credit card. You must choose foreign credit cards, then put in your debit credit card, like for example Utrip, and then turn on that feature, then scan the bike, and you're off to go. Yeah, then before you're off to go, check the brakes, check the height, adjust the seat height, and then navigate around. So I navigated around using the Kakao map. Kakao map and Naver map. So they are both two maps. Don't use Google Map, because Google Map, the locals all use Kakao map or Naver map. So these are the two maps. Naver maps are written in English. You can read it in English. Kakao map is in Korean, but it gives a better bus timing details itself, based on my experience. Okay, so that's the sharing on the Kakao T bike, and it's quite fun. Hope you enjoy it when you are in Korea, Jeju Island.